Skateboarding has done everything for me. I wouldn't make the beats that I make. I wouldn't make the music that I make. I wouldn't write the lyrics that I write because I'd probably be somewhere trying to fucking fit in. You know, skateboarding taught me that individuality is the most valuable commodity that I have to offer the world. What makes me different is what fucking makes me special. It's the reason why I'm sitting here right now.
Can you do me one thing? Look right in the camera and just say...
I'm Pharrell Williams, AKA Skateboard P. You heard the mixtape. And I dedicated that mixtape to skateboarding. In the early 80s, we were like kids going to like Mount Trashmore where they had the snake in the bowl, and then actually they ended up building the half pipe just so Tony Hawk and like Christian Hosoi would come down and do these exhibitions. And it was like you were watching deities. When they caught air, it was like you were watching the gods. I had a friend named Eric Paul. He used to get like all the cool decks. And I couldn't afford them, so he would like give me his old ones. I had the Hammerhead Hosoi, a couple of Pal Peralta boards. For my birthday, my dad got me like the Nardis Coppas board. It was like baby blue and I had like pink grip tape. And I was like so like excited about it. Skateboarding just sort of liberated me. I mean, music did too, but like that inspired the shit out of us. And my friends were so much better than I was, but like music was like such a strong influence. I always respected the power of music, and it always mesmerized me. So when we were like hanging out skating and shit, like I was always like the guy that was like sort of controlling the boombox and shit. So like, you know, some of my friends wanted to listen to like Suicidal Tendencies and Black Flag, and the other ones would be like, yeah, but have you heard this new group, Eric B. and Rakim? You know, and they were like really into it.
I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke.
Like that was the shit. So like for me, it was just kind of like, you're hearing these punk attitudes, whether it's coming out of like the punk music itself, or you're hearing the rebelliousness of like hip hop production at that time and how amped it would make you because the music was just that crazy. From then, it was like I continued to learn in music, and then like marching band became like the real forward force in my life, because right around that time, Tribe Called Quest came out, and they had this song called Bonita Apple Bum that like, I was so fucking obsessed with that I was like, okay, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And from that point on, I went to chat and I was like, man, we gotta try to just make some of this shit just for fun. And so that's when we started entering talent shows after we had made a few of our own little tracks. So that's how we got started. And then so once we got discovered, it was kind of like, okay, we don't know how long this shit is gonna last, because we're from Virginia where there's no music industry, there was no nothing. And weirdly enough, Teddy Riley decided when he moved his operation from New York, he didn't go to LA, he didn't go to Atlanta, which would be the obvious pick if you're gonna go down south. For whatever reason, he went to Virginia. And of all places in Virginia Beach, Virginia, it was literally like a 5-minute walk from my high school. So what were we gonna do? We were like, all right, well, we're gonna do these talent shows, and did the talent shows, and then got discovered, and then my life changed because I was given that opportunity.
Teddy, ready with the 1-2 checker. Rex and effects is in effects, but I'm the record.
Do I think that I'm gonna be able to do anything after I write Teddy's verse for Rump Shaker? No, but I'll try. And then so like this guy, Kenny Ortiz, I gave him like my demo or whatever, and he took the demo with him to New York, and he was like, I'm gonna bring you up and let you work on their next album. And when that brought me to New York, my soon-to-be manager was interning for him. So his cousin, Malik, worked at Tommy Boy, and Tommy Boy had just signed this guy, Noriega. We go in the studio with him and we make Super Thug, and boom. That's when it just like exploded. Then next thing I know, I'm in the studio with Puff, fucking Notorious B.I.G., Christopher Wallace walks past, like fucking Big walks past. And I never got to work with him, but like he walked past, like Big walked past me. And like I'm in a club and fucking Tupac is standing there. And this is like he's fresh out of jail. Like fucking Tupac. I'm like, man, I ain't never going home. I ain't ever going home. And it just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. At a certain point, we needed to do a show out in Japan. Nigo had heard about me coming to Japan, and they realized that I needed a studio. And this studio is in the basement of like his building where like he has all of his samples and shit. He shows me all of his clothing samples, and I'm like literally, I'm like losing my mind at all of this gear. His imagination became his reality. And I was so fucking blown away by that. So at that time, Reebok said like, you know, maybe Pharrell might want to do a shoe or something. And I'm like, all right, well, if I do, eventually I definitely want to get to a skate shoe, because that was my core. That's how ice cream was born. Man, that was my only purpose with ice cream. Skateboarding gave me a gift, perspective, and that shit is like valuable. I just wanted to give that back because it provided me so much. Am I the best skater? No. But my perspective came from skateboarding, and I took that with me. I never let it go. What brought us together was like that experience on that board and landing a trick, but what took us further in life has nothing to do with the board. It's just the mentality that it gave us. As long as you stay true to it, your perspective never needs recharging. The thing is that skateboarders don't get enough credit, man. The business of skateboarding is like a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, you know, it's cyclical. But you know what keeps you fucking surviving? Is your perspective. As long as you stay loyal to that shit, you get to do shit like this, man, build the barracks. It's where kids come in and they walk in one way and come out another.